Today's video is going to be about what I like to call the hierarchy of employee needs. Hi, I'm Ian Hopfe, and I am an HR consultant. This hierarchy of employee needs I like to talk about, yes, it is based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I've listed everything in this video from most important to least important, and they build on each other. Because there's 3 sections to this video. Section 1 is basic needs. Section 2 is psychological needs. And section 3 is the self-fulfillment needs. So we work our way up Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So section 1, basic needs. The first basic need of an employee is a living wage. If you're not paying a living wage for your area, then your employees won't thrive. Your employees won't stay. Your employees will be distracted. They will be bad employees, because an employee that is not making enough money to live must get a second or a third job or a side hustle or something to create more money just to live. Minimum wage, no, that's not a basic need. Living wage is a basic need. You'll have to do some research. Just type in living wage, the name of your city or town, and there should be something that comes up. The second part of section 1 is higher than industry standard wages. This is because you want to get the best of the best. You want to be able to attract the best employees from your competition and things like that. So find out what the industry standard is for each position in your organization, and make sure you're paying just a little bit more or a lot more if you really want to be an employer of choice. The third part of section 1, cost of living pay increases. Too often we hire someone at one wage and we leave them there for the next 5-10 years. Why aren't we increasing their wages? In that time, they could drop below the living wage, which we spoke about earlier. If you can keep your employees above the rate of inflation in some way, then they're not going to feel that stress that maybe their money isn't going as far as it used to. And a big part of the cost of living pay increases shows that you do appreciate their work. You are still keeping them employed. You are still keeping them on the payroll. So to prove to them that you still care about them and value their work, you will give them at least a cost of living pay increase each year. Either the same amount of inflation last year, or I like to take the last 3 to 5 years, add them up, divide them by the 3 or the 5, and that's the pay increase you'll give them. I like to do it every January. Now we move on to section 2, and this is the psychological needs. This is the middle of the pyramid, if we're still talking about Maslow. So you've basically covered just good wages for the first part. Now we're moving on to some of the more interesting things, like good benefits. If you have no benefits, any benefits are good benefits. If you've got basic benefits, now you might want to think about increasing these benefits. And, the health benefits, the dental coverage, all that stuff, right? These are the benefits we're speaking about in this situation. Because now you've moved beyond good pay. They're not perks yet, but they're something that is going to cover an issue for your employees. If you don't have benefits, your employees have to pay for certain health care and things like that. In psychological needs, the second part of that is that you have a good working environment. And now this takes a little bit of work. It may take you time to improve your work environment. I've got some blog posts about that you might want to look at. If you're getting paid a lot of money and you got good benefits, now you're worried about workplace toxicity. And even with good wages, if you work in a toxic hellhole, you're not going to stay for long. You're going to start searching for something. I see a lot of advice out there that says if you solve your toxic work issues first, then people will stay. I like to argue that if you solve your pay issue first, a large part of your toxic work issues will disappear. And then you'll have fewer issues to solve. And the third part of Section 2 for psychological needs is merit pay increases. Now, these are your rock stars. These are your good employees that you've identified that are really moving the bar for everyone else. All the things that you value as a good employee, they have all of them. They deserve a pay increase. And you need to let everyone know why someone would get a merit pay increase. They have to know what target they're going for you to say, yeah, you get that percentage increase of pay or whatever. Your rock stars are the people that create or do a large amount of work for you. If the average employee does X amount of work, your rock star is doing twice that, or 3 times that, or more. And this brings us to the fourth part of psychological needs, is recognition of good work. After you've given a good pay increase, now you can stay at the staff Christmas party or wherever. Hey, thank you for all your hard work. These are the people we appreciate the most this year. Here's your most valuable employee award, or here's the employee of the month. It could be something as simple as a mass email out to the whole team, and you're like, thanks so-and-so for your hard work this week. You did amazing. Thank you. A lot of owners and managers are scared to do the recognition because they're worried that the employee is going to demand more pay. If you've already solved the pay problems, then the chances of them demanding more pay is lower. So solve them pay issues first in Section 1. Then come to Section 2 and feel happy about actually giving someone recognition. Now we're moving on to Section 3. And this is the self-fulfillment needs. These are the last 2 pieces of the top of Maslow's hierarchy of need. We've reached the top of the pyramid at this point. I like to start with identifying your high potential employees. Now, these are the future rock stars. You need to find them and help them and support them. This may be just a super eager employee. Maybe they don't have the right skills to advance in your organization, but they have so much energy and so much drive, so much potential that you need to nurture them. You need to find them and identify them as soon as possible. After they've done their 3-month probation in your organization, you pull them aside and say, hey, you've got some great energy. I want to make sure that we can hone that and use your energy in good ways. So you want to identify these people. There's a chance they can really help your organization. For the second part of Section 3, internal promotions. I think internal promotions are amazing. It's the most valuable way you can create trust and loyalty within your employees. To see someone go from entry level to team lead to supervisor to manager to director, to see people progress like that, everyone else in the organization is going to say, this is great. We've promoted from within. It is such an amazing way to create trust. Now, you've got to make sure you tell everyone that only the best of the best are moving that like that. And there's only so many positions up the corporate ladder, so to speak. But there may be lateral opportunities. There may not necessarily be a promotion, but definitely a way to gain more experience. Part 3 of Section 3, self-fulfillment, is regular training. We seem to think sometimes that the initial 3-month probation period and you learn all your basic, you take your mandatory training, and that's it. And now you're off on your own. We seem to think that's good enough, and it's not. You need to be constantly training. I've been in situations where my manager couldn't understand why people weren't getting better. The problem was they just weren't taking the time to constantly be training. On the flip side of this coin, we have owners and managers that are scared to give the additional training because they're worried that this overly trained person is going to leave the organization and go help the competition, and you did all the training. Okay, that is a possibility. But if you have a good organization, they are going to stay longer. They may only leave your organization because there's no room for the internal promotion that they need and deserve to advance their career. And the amazing part is they're leaving happy. They're going to the new organization. They're sad they left. And when they get to that new organization, they say, it was an amazing place to work. It was an amazing place for me to start my career. They gave me all kinds of support and training. They are amazing. If you're starting your career, I would advise you definitely to apply for that company, that organization. This is what you want. You want people to leave happy and singing your praises. Then you'll have a constant influx of excited, skilled rock stars trying to apply for your entry-level positions. The last part of Section 3 is the one-time bonuses or perks. If you start with this, a lot of organizations start with this because it's a one-time. It's not an ongoing cost. You can afford X amount of dollars one time. It doesn't have to go into the budget. It doesn't become this permanent cost of a growing organization. And that's not how you should think about it. Because if you have a toxic work environment, a one-time bonus comes across as toxic. If you've done everything in Section 1 and you've done everything in Section 2 and you've done everything in Section 3, then you consider, I've got happy people, they make good wages, it's a happy environment, we got good training, all that stuff. Then you think, well, one-time bonuses. Because in the end, again, employees get jobs to make money. So a one-time bonus in a good job is a good thing. A one-time bonus in a bad job is a bad thing. And the other perk that managers and owners like to throw around is the pizza party. Unless you've solved every other issue on this list, a pizza party is a toxic, bad idea. Well, as always, if you've made it this far, I thank you very much. And please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any follow-up questions, throw them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks. Bye.